Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 103 of the Focus on Gaming podcast. My name is Tom.
Hello, I'm Duncan.
And today we're going to be talking about Digitized Sprites, the PlayStation handheld, and Steam Deck 2, to name but a few things. But to get us started...
Or
Duncan?
new Steam Deck Valve hardware.
Well, yes, that's the one. But to get us started, let's talk about the games that we've been playing. Duncan, what have you been playing?
Oh, well, I was pleased and disappointed with the game. My wife's been available to play recently, and so we like to play a puzzle game together. So we decided to invest in Duck Detective, which is available on PC and PS5 and Xbox. Now, it's sort of similar to Case of the Golden Idol, where you have a scene. In this case, you're a duck, you're a detective, and you go to somewhere and you get information, and then you have to complete a sentence with blanks in it, and you have to fill in the blanks for the sentence. So it could be the names of the characters, it could be what job they've got, it could be who's the victim, who's the thing, and you have to complete each sentence to forward the story on. And it was really good. It's a brilliant game. So short though, so short. But the good news is that I got it for £5, and I think full price it's only about £8. So it took us about 2 hours at a relaxed pace. You could probably, at a push, finish it in about, in probably less than an hour, easily.
Mm-hmm.
It was great to get some easy gamer score, though, because I got for each little section of the story, you get 100 gamer score, and there was only a couple of extra things. I think there's one thing where you have to knock over bins that you get 100 points for, which it puts you back in the game after you completed it. So you just go to where you need to knock all the bins over. There's only literally about 5 rooms that you can go in after you've done the tutorial section, which is like your office. But it's fully voiced. The sprites are all 2D, walking in an isometric like scene, and it's all very done in these sort of the Chinatown kind of style of with the detective doing the speech over some jazz trumpet music kind of thing. Sort of, it was a dark and stormy night, and this babe walks in. She had legs up to her, this kind of thing. But he's a duck, and all the characters are different animals. It's quite funny, but it's incredibly short. And if you played the Case of the Golden Idol is a tough game at the end. This game will only take you, even leisurely, 2 hours. And it's got hints as well. Why on earth you'd need to use a hint? You wouldn't need to. And we had it on the hard mode as well. Not the hard mode, but the mode that doesn't give you that much help. So, great game.
That's the main
Too
thing.
short. And because of the price, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. But yeah, there's no replayability, and it's very short. So, great game though. Great game.
Good.
There is a sequel that is out at the moment, which we'll probably get when it's on special offer. They're both available. I've nearly got them on PC a few times, but I'm glad I got an Xbox so that I could play it with the wife. That was good fun. Other than that, I've been working my way through Borderlands 3, which Borderlands 1 and 2, I played Borderlands 2 especially, played it to death. And because the Ultimate version is on Game Pass now. They upgraded the version that was on Game Pass to the Ultimate version, so it's got all the DLC, all the add-ons, and all this kind of thing. And if you go online, there's various websites out there that have all the codes for golden keys. So it's not particularly hard. I think I've got it on the easy mode or whatever. But it's it's Borderlands. It's all right. Is it as good as Borderlands 2? No, I'd say probably not. There's some of the areas that you're in are quite large and quite finicky to get around, but it's bazillions of guns. You're constantly inventory managing because there's so many guns to pick up. But I think, that's what Borderlands 3, I think, was slated for a lot in reviews, was that you're just spending all your time going, oh, is that gun better? No. Is that gun better? No. And eventually, sort of common guns, rare guns, so basically white guns, green guns, pretty much blue guns, you're just disposing of straight away. And you don't bother picking them up because there is absolutely no point in doing it. So, yeah, it's a bit annoying in that respect. But it has the usual Borderlands humour. And Borderlands 4 comes out in just over a month. So I thought I'd head through that. Other than that, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Played a little bit of that.
Come out, haven't they?
Yep. There is a bite size about that. And
didn't look at that.
Yeah, it's I say it's quite good because you can have, there are mods. It says mods, but they're not really. They're just like accessibility options that you can have half speed.
Yeah.
And so my 7-year-old, he would never in a million years be able to play that at full speed. And although I used to play the Tony Hawk's games, I've forgotten just how fast they were. So occasionally it helps if there's a particular thing that you're trying to do or trick that you're trying to do. It does help. Just put it down to half speed for a bit and you can easily get it. But yeah, they're such good games. And yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 4 were the best. So remake them.
You're happy.
And then, don't bother with Tony Hawk's 5. They don't need to remake that. That was terrible. Basically what killed off the series, I think. What was the other one? There was one that came with a skateboard accessory. I can't remember what it was called, but it was equally terrible. Yeah, so brilliant game.
Wow.
I think while you're playing, I may have a look at what else has been coming out, because it has been a really good time for Game Pass.
There is a lot coming out, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there was a surprise drop of Descenders Next. I have started. I haven't done a review of it, but I have started pretty much just on the tutorial of Abiotic Factor, which has apparently been out for a while on PC and I think in early access, but now it's come to Game Pass. It's sort of Half-Life-ish, but it has a crafting mechanic to it, and so it's got a story similar to Half-Life kind of thing. So I haven't played enough really that I feel like I can review it, so I haven't, but that's been getting very good reviews. There's another one called Back to the Dawn, which is an RPG that has been getting really good reviews. RoboCop, I've been going through that as well, which I think I've reviewed before. And it's fantastic FPS, probably better for people who have probably our age kind of thing, that remember RoboCop. I mean, even I didn't see it until it had been out a few years because I wasn't old enough when it came out. High on Life has come back to Game Pass. My Friendly Neighborhood. So, and then in the last few days, we've had Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, which is a Soul-like. So I played it for about 5 minutes, came to a massive thing that killed me and went, that's not for me. So, it's been a really good time with Game Pass. So
you play a lot.
Yes, I've been trying a lot, but mostly it's been Borderlands 3 and Tony Hawk's and duck detecting. So what have you been playing?
Not as much as you. So been doing a lot of stuff on the little retro handheld. So added a few more games on there, Game and Watch, and a few other things. So I've been scooting through like Super Mario Land and Tetris and Driver on the PS1. That's been fun to go back to.
Did you manage the tutorial straight away?
Funny enough, I gave that to my son, and I said, "Here, you like driving games? Try this." And after about 10 minutes, he looked at me and he was like, "This is really boring." I was like, "Yeah, it's aged very badly."
No, the thing is though, the tutorial was. I mean, I remember buying that game and being like, "What the hell? This is maddening." It took me and my friend, I think, days and days and days to get past it.
Yeah, it did with me as well.
Because it was just so hard. And
Yeah.
eventually, when you did get it, I mean, you obviously made a save point after it, but then when we did it, we were showing friends and stuff. Obviously, this is going back 28 years. We showed friends, and we were like, "Oh, you know, here's the tutorial. It's really hard." And then we go, "Oh, we've done it."
Yeah.
But it did make you good at the game.
Yes, but it was really annoying.
Hard.
And if something went wrong, whereby you lost your save game, you would start going back to it again. So it's very irritating.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But there we are. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite. Strangely enough, I set a little bit of a challenge, which was
no build duos,
no build, and you regenerate after being killed. And I set a thing where I wanted to earn 1,000 V-Bucks before the end of the season, which I believe is 2 weeks away. And I've managed to get to 750 V-Bucks so far as of yesterday, mainly because I want the Superman skin, but I'm not prepared to pay for it. So, I had an account previously where I had 20 or 30 skins on it, some really good stuff, and I lost the account. Very irritating, as you can imagine. But so I've been working with 2 skins since, which makes no difference whatsoever.
I've never had to deal with Epic customer service. I'm guessing then you tried and failed to get your account back.
Well, I said to them what the account name was and the email address, and they said, "Well, there's 3 accounts attached to that." I was like, "There isn't." And then they said, "We'll reset it." I thought they meant the password, and they actually reset everything. So I was pretty annoyed. But yeah. But anyway, so I've been playing that. And what else have I been playing? A lot of Tetris. A lot of Tetris at the moment.
CDI
and on the handheld, the RX36S or whatever it is.
The RS36S.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of that. Could have come up with a better name, couldn't like the retro
R36S.
I need to call it the retro box. That would have worked. That's been me really. So
yeah, excellent.
Yes.
Well, go back to the accounts recovery. Now, me personally, I have had to deal with quite a few because I had an email address for about 10 years, but it was linked to having internet with a certain provider, an ISP. And they told me when I stopped being with them that would disappear after a while. So I moved a few things here and there, but then it never went. So I stopped. I carried on using it, but then I did eventually because I'd had this one since I think early 2000s. But I then got a Gmail account and started using that for things, but I hadn't moved some things over. And so when it did eventually just overnight disappeared, there was Ubisoft, which I'd heard terrible things about, were fantastic. They have been, for a problem I've had since then, terrible. But that's regarding a games problem, which they are. I've had quite a few Ubisoft games that don't. Ubisoft were great. EA, again, heard that they were terrible. They went, "Oh, there you go. We'll send you've given us the security details. That's fine. Here you go. We'll change it to your new email address." So I kept everything there. Microsoft, I did have to deal with something with them. I can't remember what it was, but they were fine. There was everything. The one that was terrible, Rockstar. Absolutely they didn't even say, "Oh, sorry, you haven't given us details." I told them the issue, and they went, "Oh, tough."
Mm.
I was like, "But I've got like 10 years worth of stuff connected to this account," and they went, "Sucks to be you." Basically.
Terrible.
So
That's disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful.
So I fortunately, my my GTA Online stuff was linked to my Xbox profile and my PC profile, so that wasn't too bad because I kept all the money that I had in there and all my progress. But all things on the account, like screenshots, things that are built up on, because they try to make it like a social media for their games. All the things associated with that, come, tough. Yeah. Hence why if one of their games says purchase on the Rockstar launcher and you can play it on Steam, it's like no, I'll purchase it on Steam. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, so they make me
that's
mad.
infuriating.
Yes,
but I can't change it.
Anyway, but I have heard terrible things pretty much about every single one. The only one I've never really heard anything negative about is Valve.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah,
Meta's pretty good as well, to be honest.
The fact that I had my Steam Deck for 19 months and they fixed it because I said, "Oh yeah, it'd always been happening." They're like, "All right, so we'll replace it." Excellent. I was expecting them to go, "Oh, it's out of warranty." Me go, "Okay, well, how much to repair it?" And they just went, "No, send it in. We'll replace it." Cool, excellent. I'll send it in. I did, however, have to sort of pay because I did lose my 1 terabyte drive because I'd given away my 256 gigabyte, so I lost the 1 terabyte drive. So somebody who got a reconditioned one would have got a lovely 1 terabyte drive. Aren't they lucky? But at the end of the day, I got a nice, fresh, new Steam Deck. So
that's all right.
Yeah,
I think that if they're going to provide the accounts, the access, stuff like that, then they need to, support it and help people.
I mean, they need to have. I mean, obviously now, every single account you have that does it have 2-factor authentication. Make sure you have that. Whether it's a basic thing like SMS or email, but preferably have an authenticator app because you will have their recovery. And when you get 2-factor authentication, some of them like Battle.net, I think EA as well and stuff will give you recovery codes.
Yeah.
Keep those recovery codes. Put them on, like take a screenshot of them and keep them on your phone, on your cloud storage or something like that, somewhere that you will always get them. Now, I don't keep them on my phone, so if someone wants to steal my phone and take them off me, they're not there. But I have mine all safely in one place and I know where they are. So if ever my EA account gets stolen or I forget a password or my password or my email gets shut down and I can't access it or whatever, I can access those accounts. So everybody, 2-factor authentication. Doesn't matter whether it's your account, a child's account, whatever, get 2-factor authentication. There you go.
I tend to use the
public service
keys. What are they called? The
passkey.
The what key?
Passkey.
Passkey, yeah. And that works quite well. I always tend to be able to access everything, and then I've got
passkeys are to that device. So if you lose that device, or if you forget, so what I used to do with my phone, I'd have passkeys or something like that, or I'd have something that was based on a like a progress on a web website game, or website, one of these Wordle kind of things, and it'd be like, oh, you played 300 games of this, and then you get a new phone or like refresh your browser, and you'd be like, oh, it's all gone, I forgot about it. So passkeys again are linked to that device, so you have to make sure you transfer.
I have it passkeyed, and then I have it secondary linked to my phone and secondary linked to my fingerprint. So it's very hard to get into accounts unless you're very
always do. If they offer two-factor authentication of any kind, whether it's passkeys, recovery keys, an authenticator app, or anything, do it, because those are the things as well. If you do have any issues, they will get it back for you. Whereas knowing your birthday is something that probably is already out there on the dark web. So this is how people steal things. There you go.
There you are.
So that's our public service announcement of the podcast.
That's it. Moving on, we are going to also talk about Valve, and they're already working on the Steam Deck 2, allegedly. I've had reports that, and Duncan probably knows a bit more about this than I do, but they are also working on a potential home machine.
Yes, well, they're apparently working these in tandem, so they'll probably be similar spec things. Now, the only thing I can think of is that the only reason that they would be similar spec and you wouldn't just need a Steam Deck 2 is that I reckon they must be working on something small.
Yes.
That will hide behind your TV kind of thing. Because at the moment, you can get a Steam Deck, you can plug it into your TV, and away you go. Your TV is now a computer. It's not particularly hard. Anyone could do it. And if you've got a hub, stick in a keyboard and mouse, and you've got a fully accessible desktop PC. So I think it could only be, and I mean, SteamOS is now available for PCs and other handheld PCs. So the fact that it is so good, I mean, they've tried this before with the Steam machines, but that was more of a licensing thing and trying to standardizing the hardware. Whereas I think this is them going, this is our basic one. If you want to make your own version, fine, but we're making this.
I think also with that, the original one they did, the controller was shit. But with this one, I think we're talking those that don't want a handheld can use the home machine, and I think they are becoming the next player in the console market, as Xbox is probably coming out of it.
Well, I mean, I would say it'd be great if the two of them worked together, but Gabe famously hates Microsoft. So I think Microsoft would love to have Game Pass on Steam. They did hint at that at one point. Gabe didn't shut them down, but again, he hates Windows. So the only thing I think he would like to do with SteamOS, if he could retire, is kill Windows. So
I've heard that apparently early discussions have taken place with Sony to put Steam on their upcoming handheld. So I don't know how true this is, but I've heard.
See, Sony, I can't see it. I mean, Sony just notoriously, a bit like Nintendo, where they are. I mean, for a start, they'd lose all their 30% cut, and that's where the money is. This is why they get exclusives, because they get 30% of every sale. So if they had Steam on there, now I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe allowed Steam Link. That would be a slight possibility. But I can't see them allowing Steam on on a PC.
Well, they are releasing a lot of their games on Steam.
Yeah,
this
they
year.
do. They do, yes. But they're generally old. I say old. Like The Last of Us 2 only came out this year, which has been out for, what, 5 years? 4 years? Something like that.
Something like that.
God of War 2016 came out. Was it 2016 or 2018? Anyway, the reboot of God of War came out, I think, about 3 years after Ragnarok, and things like Returnal. They came out like God of War Ragnarok came out, I think, a year after, and Returnal came out less than a year, I think.
I mean, they're never going to let their exclusives be released straight away. But I mean, just the fact that the potential of discussions are had. I mean, Sony is said to be working on a new low-powered handheld, which is codenamed Jupiter, and it's expected to be developed by AMD and Samsung, with a proposed release date between 2027 and 28. But obviously, this is a hearsay. But imagine, though, if Steam and Sony partnered up to allow PC games on the handheld, PlayStation games on it as well, some form of downloadable game system plus streaming. I mean, that's going to knock Microsoft heavily.
Yep. We've got Microsoft joining the. They're not doing a first-party handheld. It is ROG, but they are dipping their toes in with Asus, with the ROG Xbox Ally X. So that's coming out, but this is the thing with the Steam Deck. It came out 2022, and it came out, and everybody was getting it because it was so cheap. And the ROG Ally, when it came out, it was a bit more expensive, but it was very quickly reduced, so it was pretty cheap.
Yeah.
And right now you can get the original, not the new Ally X, quite a good price. But then obviously it has the problems with SD card slots and battery isn't as good and all this kind of thing. So, but you can get into the handheld market for, £300 if you're lucky enough, but definitely less than £400.
Yeah.
Next year, or later on this year, and from then on, with the Z2 chips, not Z2, Z2 chips that are going to be in the Xbox Ally and like the new Legion Go and such like, they are going to start, even with the slower chip. They're going to be starting at your £500-600.
But we know Sony is going to subsidize whatever they release for the first year or two.
Well, the thing is, even if they subsidize, like Microsoft subsidized Asus for the Xbox One, because there are going to be two. There is a lower powered one that hasn't got the Xbox branding. So it will bring it down more to that kind of cost, yes, but it would still be probably £700 because there's rumours that it's going to be £800 or $900.
There's no way Sony will release a handheld at that price because they can't do that.
I'm talking about like this is the prices now because they're becoming mobile processors are becoming so good. That also means that the process of making them is a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
You've got chips coming out that whether mobile or not that have 2 nanometer processors, which I mean it just blows my mind that you could have electron microscopes and you'd only just be able to see these switches that are on these processors. It's just crazy. But yeah, I mean these things are they're a lot more expensive. You are not going to get a £350 handheld. Unless it's a streaming based one or a low powered one like your Switch, the original Switch.
The Portal,
So I mean, look at Switch 2. Switch 2 is more expensive than the Switch 1, not just because of prices going up, not because money is worth less now. It's because it's more expensive to make chips. So hopefully Microsoft and Sony will subsidize. That would be great. But as we found out with things like the PS5 Pro being so expensive, they are not doing that anymore.
Interestingly, and I'm just reading this as we speak. So Sony have put out a position for a senior director of multi-platform and account management. Essentially, they want to grow and optimize their title profitability, ensuring cross-functional alignment, high-performing team focus on multi-platform expansion, mid-range commercial planning, and platform partner management. Essentially, they want to take all the games that they own, buy into more, and sell them across PC, Nintendo, Xbox, everything. Now, interestingly, in their most recent investor meeting, because this has been leaked, they want to expand the reach of their earnings. Now, maybe that's a means of them subsidizing the console costs.
Well, I mean, PlayStation have confirmed that there are some first-party games coming on Xbox. So, like Helldivers 2 is coming in August, I think, to Xbox. And there are apparently more. I don't think we're going to get God of War on Xbox. But yeah, you're sort of ones that aren't stereotypically Sony or the big ones. But ones that are popular, I think. I think, and also let's not forget that they also probably want somebody that's going to deal with things better than they did with having an account on PC. Thing is that console makers such Microsoft, Nintendo, and everyone don't realize on PC is because everything is in inverted commas free on PC. People don't want accounts. People don't want things watching them or looking at what else they're doing on there. Because if you've got some weird thing, they don't want something snooping. They don't want accounts. They don't want things looking at their cookies and their browser, all this kind of thing. And when they had, what was it? It was Helldivers and there was another first-party game that came to PC. When they forced people after it had been out to make an account, they soon had to roll that back. Because probably as well, just making somebody who will manage it a bit better than that. They have, however, I think, realised that they can't change needing an account for everything.
It's going to be interesting,
but they can do it.
I think that's why they're holding off releasing anything till sort of 2027, 28, because then you hopefully are going to see a shift in the chipset costs. You're going to look at maybe being able to subsidize it more with the fact they're using stuff on cross-platform. Xbox are doing the same. It makes sense. So,
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, these architecture lifespans mean that what is being in the news has been the fastest processor and all this kind of thing. It is not going to become the norm for possibly a year, possibly 2 years. And with consoles are a little bit behind because normally they're custom. So AMD will probably already know what is going to be. There's probably hundreds of people who know or have a general idea of what is going to be in, let's say, the Sony handheld. But it will be something that is either just coming to production or something that is already designed. So something that comes out in 2027 will be from the processors that are coming in now. So like you said in your notes about the Zen 6. The Zen 6 architecture is being released in 2026. Yeah. So that means they know about it, and probably the bigwigs and designers at Sony know about it. So they're possibly putting Zen 6 architecture in their home console or their handheld, these kind of things. So I mean, I'm not somebody who's particularly technical. I can generally understand the news and all this kind of thing. But so, don't quote me on what will be and what. But yeah. Basically, what I'm saying is processes that are now will be in 2027, 2028. And also the leap, the graphical leap. Yes, okay, things from the PS5 and Xbox Series do look prettier than the Xbox One and PS4 era. I'm not saying that they don't, but the leap is nothing like the leap from the SNES to the PlayStation and N64.
But there wasn't a leap, though, was there? Let's face it, it was a gradual drag in the right direction. I mean, you went from
you went from basic colours to many colours, and then you went from to like the parallax scrolling, so you could sort of have 3D, and then you went to full 3D polygons, and then you went to like much like higher textures, and then it was more realistic animations and motion capture and all this kind of thing. And now it's got to the point where it's like, oh, look at those pixels there. They're a bit good, aren't they? Oh, look, there's not a there's a slight tearing on that person's forearm. Or
I think it went backwards.
Look at those lights in the background. They're flickering a bit. It's like, really? Is it?
I think it went backwards initially with the N64 because of the way they use the textures and things like that. It actually couldn't display as well as the Super Nintendo, especially with the FX2. But mostly it was because of the obviously ability to draw in 3D on the N64, which sold the console. But
it was the problem was the media. The PlayStation 1 had CDs, and those could have, I think, until they made them bigger, about be able to contain more, about 600 megabytes. Now I can't remember how much they could fit onto capacity of N64 cartridges was
a gig, wasn't it?
64 megabyte. So you could fit 10 times as much data. Now polygons don't take up much data. They were more sort of the power. You could have more polygons, but it was the textures were. It's a bit like right now. If your Blu-rays can have high resolution video, whereas your CD-ROM could have some grainy, attempt at putting a film in it. And if you had VCDs back in the day, you quite often had two VCDs for one.
That's right.
One movie. And so that's why N64 was quite bright, but not very many textures. And if it did have textures, they were very low bit rate kind of thing.
I didn't enjoy the N64 at all, if I'm honest.
I never really played on one to start with, and then when I did eventually, I was like, what was all the fuss about?
That's kind of
that's not saying that Super Mario 64 isn't a great game. It just, I was like, I much prefer Super Mario World. So I'll just get back to Super Mario World, thanks.
I think also when you look at what was going on around the N64, scrap the PlayStation for a second. You had, we spoke about earlier, the CDI, the 3DO, the Atari Jaguar in some ways. You had CDTV. Their graphic quality, their pixel graphics, which is something we'll come on to shortly, the sprites graphics were very much ahead of their time, and it worked. Now, the chipsets within it only allowed certain amount of movement versus action. So you could, like with the CDI, you could move, but you couldn't actually say hit the ball at the same time as moving. The machine wasn't designed for that. It was more point and click. So they had to find workarounds to make that work, and it was always delayed ever so slightly. 3DO was much better at it, but those quality of games were fantastic and far exceeding PlayStation, far exceeding.
Oh yeah, I mean, in terms of 2D, the CDI was very good.
Well, even the digitized sprites were phenomenal. I mean, it's like playing Wimbledon.
Yeah, but they're still 2D.
Like you were there.
Yeah,
they
2D.
are. Yes, but what I'm saying
the
is
N64 couldn't compete with any CD media in that respect. No,
it probably could have.
64 megabyte. I mean, for anyone that's listening that isn't aware of file sizes, 64 megabyte would probably get you about 10 songs in MP3 format. In terms of photos on your camera, 3, 4, depends on the resolution. Maybe. If you've got high resolution camera, if you've got a cheap phone, maybe 10 photos. And they managed to fit GoldenEye and Super Mario 64 on there. So good feat and everything. But if they'd used digitized, even low resolution digitized characters, it would have been an absolute rubbish. But
and I think
obviously that didn't stop things like Mortal Kombat being on there.
No. I mean, it was going to be on the Atari Jaguar, but let's face it, that was never going to work. But I think had it been on the 3DO, it would have worked. And it's the first party titles that are missing from those machines. Forgetting the price for a second, but those.
I was going to say, let's face it, the CDI and the 3DO sucked because of the price.
Yeah, but the 3DO came down,
and they didn't have the game support as well.
And that's the key, the game support. But what I'm saying is, you look at what Nintendo did. It wasn't until they got to the GameCube where they become comparable, and even then, graphically, they still weren't comparable to some of the things that Sega and the other early CD consoles were doing. So I suppose we've automatically gone into our next topic, but I think that I think you look at Mad Dog McCree, that was the arcade game where you had the lights on.
That's not technically digitized. That's FMV.
That is FMV. I get that, but I just think that had they got it right, we would be in a different era of gaming now.
Yes and no. I mean, the thing is, though, with FMV and digitized, you are restricted. It's not like at the moment with the quality of graphics, even looking photorealistic. You said you were Saga kind of thing. You could do anything with that character on 3D. Polygons and good high resolution textures and all this kind of thing. Whereas FMV and digitized, you are restricted to what you have got.
Yeah.
So if you take a picture of like 100 pictures of somebody on sideways in a fighting game, you've only got 100. Whereas technically with 3D characters, you've got infinite. Now, granted, motion capture means that you are also locked to whatever you have captured. But you can edit those. So what are we talking about? Let's move on to this to the subject. Digitized characters, digitized sprites in a game. the big ones that so people know what we're talking about. For those that don't, Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat had pictures of people fighting in a game, and they were animated in a way that, in similar to Street Fighter, where you could punch the living daylights out of people, rip their heads off, and all sorts of things. But they were actual pictures. If you go on YouTube now, you can look at the actual videos of them taking the videos of people doing various things. So that's the big one. But there was quite a lot. There was hundreds, and not always photos of people. You could always also have photos of, whether it's animals, whether it's sports things, like a car or something. But what I've been researching this beforehand, and we had a little chat about this. I didn't realise was photos. A little bit of knowledge for everybody is Doom. Doom, the original sprites, although they were edited in a paint thing, the characters were photos. There you go. So when you've been, some of them. When you've been blown away all those Hellspawn, some of them were photos of things. So what other than Mortal Kombat, when I say digitized sprites, what comes to mind for you?
I would say, I was thinking about this, and all I can do is your chair creaking. You need a new chair or some WD-40. I think probably the dinosaur fighting game, was it Prime Evil?
Primal Rage?
Primal Rage, that's it, yeah.
Was it Primal Rage? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Primal Rage and Primal Rage 2, apparently.
Which was absolutely brilliant. It really was. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was like Rampage, the one-on-one fighter.
Yes.
Do you remember Rampage?
Yeah.
There was actually, I think, a digitized version of Rampage. Let's have a look if there was. No, apparently I'm talking out my arse. That Primal Rage, it was. I suppose the most would be Killer Instinct, really, wouldn't it? Would be the most similar thing.
Yeah, I suppose so.
If people have never played it, but it was a one-on-one fighter with your giant monkeys, your giant dinosaurs, fighting in front of volcanoes and in jungles and that kind of thing.
Also, Lethal Enforcer. Remember that one?
Oh yes. Always
my favorite.
It was quite good because it used the digitized sprites as opposed to Mad Dog McCree and similar that used FMV. It was more immediate. So you shot somebody and they, but it was literally it was almost like cutouts just popped up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's our local arcade has, I think, one of the Lethal Enforcers or a similar game.
Okay.
And it's not exactly aged well, but it's not terrible. There was actually an Operation Wolf 3 was as an arcade game, if you remember Operation Wolf, which was a digitized one as well. And that Operation Wolf, I don't know if you ever played that in the 1980s, where you got the little like Uzi style gun on a stick, and you just had to. They eventually released it on most home things in computers and consoles. So Operation Wolf, Lethal Enforcers. You were a cop, weren't you? And you had to shoot about 500 people. I always find that funny. It's like I'm a cop. I've got to, thwart these people, and it's like you've killed 500 people. You're going to be arrested. But they were baddies. 500 people. Yes. Anyway.
Don't forget. Carried away. Don't forget Road Rash. Now, Road Rash on the, I think it was the 3DO version, had digitized graphics and FMV cutscenes as well. Digitized sprites, even the vehicles as well were digitized sprites. So
yes. It was a motorbike racing game, but it was scandalous because you basically had to hit, kick, and push people in front of other cars on bikes. So you won the game by basically probably killing people.
Why not?
So it was scandalous back in the day.
That's going to come up a lot, I think. Aliens versus Predator on the Atari Jaguar.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the other thing that you got a lot of digitized games was, I don't think the list that I've got probably will be showing many of them, is you got a lot of these cheap PC porn games. They were basically porn games, weren't they? And there was an absolute ton of those in the 80s and 90s. For everything from the Spectrum right up to the PC and stuff, and you get strip poker, and you get some woman coming up and going, "Oh no, I lost!" Poing! Out come the boobs and that kind of thing.
Street Fighter, the movie. Don't forget that one.
Oh dear Lord!
Worst game ever.
Yeah, yep. It was not well received.
No.
Although I'm looking at the Wikipedia reception of it. Granted, it got quite a few low scores, but Play gave it 85%. Yes, really. There's a magazine called Hyper. It's an Australian one. Gave it 74%. Game Fan. Tim Lindquist. Why do I know that name? Anyway, so Game Fan gave it 251, 300. This is the PlayStation version, I think, that came out, on the PlayStation. So there was also the arcade version, which I think, it's not very good.
But it was worth a laugh. And you had the WWF game as well, the WWF arcade. I think
of course, back when it was WWF.
That was brilliant. I love that game.
For years, even as a kid, I was like, really? WWF? Even when I liked wrestling, I was like, you can't call yourself that, can you? And they did for many years until pretty much, I think, there was the legal thing, and I think most of the world went, no, you weren't first. WWF, the Worldwide Fund for Nature, was first.
Yeah, but I still think it was a little bit of a hard push when you're a nature charity or whatever they are, rather than a wrestling federation. I think they really did push the boat out on there just for the domain name. But
they were calling themselves the WWF. They weren't the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. People were calling them WWF. They were advertising themselves as the WWF. But I've never liked that.
Was MTV Deathmatch? Was that? It was digitized sprites as well.
That was Claymation,
no, it was
wasn't it?
Sprites. Yeah.
So, well, the thing is that's sort of the same thing, because you had Clay Fighter.
I think it's more stop motion. I think it's more stop motion.
Well, Claymation is stop motion with clay. So, I mean, Clay Fighter was not bad when it first came out, but it's not really aged well. It was similar to Primal Rage, but you had these characters that, because they were made out of clay, they could stretch them and all this kind of, the characters could stretch or do weird things. Yeah, it was all right. It came out the.
I think it was
Genesis.
Yeah, I think it was like Mega CD that really brought through the FMV and some of the sprites. But the one that you got like Sewer Shark and things like that, and even
was what?
Rogue
Sorry, you
Squadron,
cut
the
out.
Star Wars game.
What was that you just said? You
cut out. Sewer Shark on the Mega CD and Rogue Squadron.
Oh, that was FMV, wasn't it?
Sewer Shark. But the one that was that always sticks in my mind, and it's a shame Martin's not here to back me up on this one, is Donkey Kong on the SNES.
Donkey Kong, of course, yes. Donkey Kong 1, 2, and
the most amazing
Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3, yes. Because they were pictures basically. And I suppose that's one of the ones that shows probably the power of the digitized sprites, because it was a fast-paced platformer, and it worked very well. And
it was shocking to see it the first time when you got the game. I don't think you owned a Super Nintendo, did you?
No, I didn't own one. I did complete Donkey Kong Country on my Steam Deck 2 years ago, but obviously with that I had save states, so it worked a lot easier. But
to play it back in the day when you opened it for the first time, and you saw those graphics, and you're talking jumping from Super Mario World to Donkey Kong. I mean, the jump in graphics was, or even Star Fox to Donkey Kong, that was a phenomenal jump, and Star Fox was technically advanced itself. So when you played it and you saw like the animated rain and the beaver on the game, and it was just, and the barrel that was 3D, and the 3D textures that had a shine on the back of the rhino and things. I mean, all that sort of stuff was, and they could then go inside the hill and come out the tunnel on the other side or whatever. It was just phenomenal. It really was. It was almost like seeing Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation for the first time. It was just out of this world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Donkey Kong Country is still, even the first one still looks all right, although it's low resolution. The what it looks like is good, and because they made it look sort of CGI-ish, you thought it was just very good graphics. Although I would stick by what I said earlier, in terms of this, the problem with digitized was that none of them really flowed very well. Even your Mortal Kombat, the big budget ones, they didn't flow very well. Even Donkey Kong Country, the fact that it's a platformer means that you could, when you press the jump button, he puts his arms up to jump, and it's not a really smooth animation where it's like a video of him jumping. It is still a few frames of arms up, arms down when he lands, kind of thing. Now, granted, the jumping and everything is done very well, but with modern 3D ones, obviously we've got Donkey Kong Bonanza that's just come out, and they have multiple frames of animation that look very smooth and are still just as good. The jumping is still just as good. And Donkey Kong Country is probably not a good example of what I'm saying, because it does work very well. But if you think of Mortal Kombat, it's more sort of, because of the way it works, it's more sort of their arms are in, and you press punch and their arm is out. And your brain fills in the motion most of the time. It is, like Liu Kang, when you're punching and he does his fast punching, and when he does his fast kicking, there's not very many frames of that. It's your brain that fills in the animation of it. Quite often, they're just arms back, arms forward, arms back, arms forward.
Yeah, I think Mortal Kombat 3 got it right. Out of all of them,
I mean, as they went
animation.
on, they did get better. Obviously, they put more frames of animation in. It just for the people making the game as well. It just meant that obviously you could take more pictures and get use a video, but yeah, then you've got to get the perfect video movement, like especially for a pixel perfect one-on-one fighting game. So I don't think that they were something that nowadays would have been. Yeah, I don't think if they'd stuck with it more, I don't think it would have got much further, other than causing. It would have been meant a lot more jobs for actors. I mean, obviously, we have a lot of motion capture nowadays, and that gets people's faces and acting and all this kind of thing. So, yeah, I might be talking out my backside, but equally, digitized are all 2D as well. And now, granted, you can put digitized textures onto a 3D polygon shape. But
I'd like to see
generally,
going back
2D was how it worked.
Yeah. So let's give you just a taster. I've just been did a bit of searching while we've been talking, and there is actually a top 30 digitized sprites games of all time list. It does go way further than that, but I'm just going to give you an idea of some of the games that are in there for our listeners to then Google themselves. There's some in here that Duncan certainly would be interested in. So Fallout 2 is number 1. Donkey Kong Country 2, Blood, which is an actual horror game. We've got Fallout 1, StarCraft. We have the Neverhood, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey.
Yeah, see, Netherhood, that was one. Was it? Yeah, it was like it was made. Sort of, it was a point and click, and I think it was meant to be sort
adventure.
I think they put a fair amount of money into it because it was claymation.
Yes, right. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it was like like DreamWorks. I think trying to cross the border between movie and game, like interactive. But yeah, like you said, I think claymation generally is pretty terrifying, unless it's done really well, like your Wallace and Gromit or your Chicken Run kind of thing, where they're basically big budget.
Well, I think you can download Netherhood for the Steam Deck, actually. So
okay.
Worth a look. Give you some others. We've got The Beast Within, Project Zomboid, which sounds absolutely fascinating and something I will be looking at. Can't see any screenshots of that one, but Project Zomboid is worth a look.
Project Zomboid, I do actually own that.
Any good?
Hang on, I do own it. I can't remember which. I've got a few zombie games.
It's more isometric.
That I can't remember. Yes. Do I own Project Zomboid? I don't have a. Hang on. I will open Steam and have a look. See if I
you're looking.
But if I remember rightly, it's one that's like really tough.
Yeah, looks it. While you're looking.
No, I do not own it.
Now's your chance. NBA Jam Tournament Edition had digitized sprites. In fact, that was really good.
Yeah, that one. I think it had some actual NBA players who were digitized, but doing crazy things. I mean, the original one was so good.
Yeah.
When it came out, I mean, you could play it on an arcade, but then when they brought it to the SNES and the Mega Drive, it was so much fun. I mean, I don't normally like basketball games, but that was That was an actual good one. That also, it still felt it even with the craziness, it still felt like there was some skill there.
Yeah,
it wasn't just run to one side, dunk, run to the other side, dunk.
Obviously, a lot of the golf games also. Sorry, I thought you finished there. You hadn't.
No, go on.
I was going to say a lot of the golf games back in the early 2000s were sprites as well, which were added a feel of realism.
Pebble Beach.
And Arnold Palmer golf and Jack Nicholson golf and all those. But the one game we've missed out at all of this, and I think to bring this to a close, is the original Prince of Persia.
Oh well, that wasn't digitized. What that
it wasn't.
Was,
it used motion capture digitized sprites, and then it was
used
drawn
motion
over.
capture. And it used a weird kind of 3D polygon that had fluid, similar to Flashback as well. And what's the other one? It was Flashback, and there was like a sequel to Flashback.
Yes, Flashback was awesome, especially on the 3DO.
No, not Flashback sequel. It was the sequel. Flashback was the sequel to. There was two of them that was like there were. No, I don't know. But anyway, there was another game similar to Flashback that had the fluid movement.
But
and like you said, it was motion capture. And they were really good.
Yeah.
I thought we're talking about digitize, and there's a game that you haven't mentioned once that we've talked about quite a few times on this podcast that had one of the most terrible games on some of the home consoles. Pit Fighter, that's the one.
Yeah, I knew that was in there.
So it was a fantastic arcade game. With hindsight, it hasn't aged well, but anyway, fantastic arcade game. And then it came to pretty much every home computer, console, even Game Boy and such like. And there were some awful ports, absolutely terrible. There were some good ones, but awful.
It was pretty bad.
Your Sinclair gave the ZX Spectrum version a 28% score.
Well, it's better what the Amstrad version got. I think it didn't even get 5. So
Megatech magazine gave the Mega Drive version 80%. Mega placed the Mega Drive version at number 27 in its top Mega Drive games of all time. So so it did have some good versions. That was basically a prequel to Mortal Kombat, really, wasn't it? It wasn't made by the same people, but it was one-on-one. No, actually, no. You could have up to 3, couldn't you? 3 characters fighting at the same time.
No,
but you could move around a bit, couldn't you? It was so it was one-on-one. So you could
move moving up and down.
Yeah, you can move up and down and left and right. And so it was before they actually realised people didn't want to move around. People just wanted to hit each other in these kind of games. So they just had muscle-bound freaks, really, digitized. So apparently it was the second fighting game to use digitized sprites after Home Data's Reikai Doshi Chinese Exorcist.
I'll let you Google that one.
I dread to think, but
yeah.
Okay, that doesn't look particularly. Oh, I see. No, it's a one-on-one fighting game, but the fighting game looks pretty basic. But they're like pictures of models, like dolls kind of thing. Not like dolly kind of things, but dolls of fighters. So Pit Fighter. If you're going to play it, play the Mega Drive version. Or is Super Nintendo version any good? Do you know?
No, it was crap, and the sprites were tiny.
Okay.
I tell you what, another game I've just remembered, the Rocketeer on the Super Nintendo. That was digitized sprites as well, and it was dreadful.
That was obviously we had what you call it, the movie, didn't we, of Rocketeer? Was it obviously based on that, I presume?
The movie, yeah.
So it was a movie.
Which was also a diabolical game.
No, you said the Rocketeer was a diabolical movie. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't probably as bad as the game, because that was back in the all movie games were sucky.
I feel like you should try it and feed back to us next week on that one, Duncan.
Well, there are many other games that we could talk about in this. I mean, there's White Men Can't Jump, apparently, but you got William Shatner's Tech War, which I think has quite a few.
I didn't realise that was.
Yeah, there you go. And
I didn't realise that was
SWAT games. Hexen Beyond Heretic, apparently, and Heretic were first-person shooters. So they, similar to Doom, used digitized. Jurassic Park, the Sega Genesis game.
Oh yes, it was. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Shadow Warrior, the original 1997 one, not the remake from recently, and a big one actually that I've only just noticed. I completely forgot about myself. Star Wars Rebel Assault and Rebel Assault 2, because they were shooting like in the you could go in the trench and destroy. It was an on the rail shooter, so it you couldn't move or anything. You could just shoot things. But yeah, it used digitized graphics like to shoot. And then wasn't that the one where you then had a pilot having to shoot stormtroopers? I think so. Still like a style game, like Lethal Forces style game.
Oh yeah,
I think.
God, I forgot all that.
I think that.
Did we ever have any? Did we have any games such as doing that on the Amstrad or the Spectrum? What? Sam Fox.
What, digitized games?
Yeah.
Oh, we had Pit Fighter, I think, on Spectrum, didn't they?
Yeah, but that was drawn, wasn't it? It wasn't digitized.
No. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I remember. Yeah, Sam Fox. That was probably the only one that I would say I remember, because that was
played to it was sticky.
Well, I would have only been about 8, so probably not.
A few years later.
Yeah, because that would have been mid-80s, I think. Maybe. I don't know. So if you want good examples, look up, just search for porn digitized characters games. I'm not going to search for that because I'll just get loads of adverts for weird things then. Batman Forever, apparently that had digitized games.
There was
Phantasmagoria. If you like it, if you want a point and click game that's got digitized graphics, Phantasmagoria, completely weird and like a horror game, but yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I think we've exhausted digital sprites, and funny enough, while I'm sitting about to end this podcast, I am actually playing the Super Nintendo version of the Rocketeer, and it is dreadful. I've sent you the link. Enjoy. But yeah,
I won't.
But do like, subscribe, find our social medias, and share with your friends. Obviously, Focus on Gaming is the name.
.co.uk.
If you have, of course, and if you have any topics you want us to discuss or people you want us to interview, do get in touch. And if you have any questions as well you'd like us to answer on the podcast, you are always welcome to ask away on our Facebook, and we will do our best to answer.
And if you're a developer, send us your game, we'll review it.
Yeah, freebies all the way. Thank you very much. Yeah. But that does bring us to the end of episode 103, and we will see you next week when we discover if Martin's back from the dead again.
Yeah, so, he's dead again. Right.
So it's bye from me.
On that note,
and
bye.